eyes on the way I vibe when I walk into the room. Wind blows underneath the soles of my brand new pair of shoes. I got the attention, I'm on a mission. No sweat in the way I step, I got a fresh new attitude. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, you can buy me a crown. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who try to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. New look, got the ladies shook. New watch saying it's my time. These magazines wanna feature me, cause they know I'm on the rise. Get the attention, I'm on a mission. Cause ever since I flipped that switch, my power can't be denied. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, you can buy me a crown. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who try to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. Give the attention, I'm on a mission. I'm in with the vision. Got a passion, making it happen. Ready for action. And this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who try to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. So anyone who try to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. This is my world now. Hey! Here we go! We're coming, ready or not. You better steady yourself, because we're raising some hell. There's nothing keeping this roof from blowing off. We're taking over the town. Hit the switch and shut it down. Like in New York, we're electric, never stop. We're coming, ready or not. We're coming, ready or not. We're giving all that we got. We're giving all that we got. We're coming, ready or not. We're throwing gas on the fire. The stratosphere getting high. We're trouble when
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Our family started RVing a few years ago, and when I think about all those campfires and fishing trips and sporting events, these are memories that are going to last a lifetime. I want to help others do the same thing. Hi, I'm Kevin Smith, General Manager at the all-new CLICKIT RV in Milton Freewater. People in this community are very familiar with this location and the great service they've always received. So the biggest question we get is, where is Keith? The great news is, Keith is still here.
I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of things come and go. Through all the changes that we have seen, one thing that has not changed for us is the quality of our service.
Buying an RV is a big purchase, but it should be a fun and happy experience. So whether it be in sales or service or parts, our mission is simple: be the best. From our team here at CLICKIT RV in Milton Freewater, we invite you to come down and experience the difference.
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to the winding twists and turns, chicanes, Quebec corner, and more of Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. It is round 19. 3 races remain before the playoffs of 2023 in Season 10 of the Northwest Truck Series, presented by CLICKIT RV. We're live on LSRTV, simulcast as always, every Monday, Wednesday night on CRN, the Community Radio Network. Good evening to you. I am Wesley Outland. We have a new man joining me in the booth. David Kreutz is my color analyst tonight. Cody Deemers, the Rooster, is handling production. Executive producer, director, of course, is Charles Wooten and Jeff Stabnow. Rock. David, welcome aboard. What a fun time here. We're going to have fun on the road courses at Canadian Tire.
Absolutely looking for a lot of fun here tonight in the heart of the season. 19th race so far, and I'll tell you this much, this season leading up to it, fierce points battle for the championship, multiple winners to keep an eye out for, and road courses with the trucks are always fantastic. This time we get to take it north of the border, and I'll tell you this much, I've had some experience driving these virtual trucks at Canadian Tire. When you get it just right, it is a fantastic feeling. And I'm telling you, the drivers up at the front of the field, they're going to try to hit those marks just right every lap, every one of the 48 we have to try to come home with the win. I'm expecting some fierce competition up in front, and even all around, everyone's got a shot to have a good run here tonight.
You know, David, you mentioned the battle for the championship in the regular season, and it is coming down to the wire. We mentioned, of course, the man up not only being Dennis Moore, but Ryan Bloom right there within a cat's whisker of him by 4 points. That is just the margin. Those drivers in 1 and 2 with the most wins of anybody this year at 3 and 5.
And it's an incredibly close points battle, as you mentioned. Now, looking through our standings right now, I don't appear to see the name Ryan Bloom. I mean, he's really close in the championship, but right now, it does not appear he is registered. But coming into tonight, as you mentioned, he has been clawing back at that points lead, has 10 more bonus points coming into the night. He's got 5 wins on the season so far. He has been the man, short of our points leader in Dennis Moore. And of course, tonight, if he gets here, he can continue that charge. But of course, looks like right now, he just doesn't happen to be there. Right now, Dennis Moore, one of the many drivers going off. 8 drivers have taken the time so far, and we still have 13 minutes remaining. Now, I'll tell you this much. First time here, of course, we've seen our fair share of mixing these track combinations so far in the Northwest Truck Series. When it comes to the drivers we expect to see contending, Wesley, who are the guys you have in mind?
Well, no doubt about it, obviously. You know, I would say for sure Kevin Smith, who's at the top of the board right now. He has definitely been on the momentum train. The Dubby, number 47, coming at you on the monitor right now. Winner last Monday night in the trucks at Indianapolis. That is Christopher White. Got himself a climb up in the points. He's in the top. First win of the year last week. And don't consistency with 1 pole, 3 top 5s, 8 top 10s. But the last time he went to Victory Lane here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park was in the trucks. And of course, make no mistake about it, he knows this place inside and out. He even had problems in Quebec corner, spun himself out, but he had such a big lead over everybody. He was still able to get the victory. Never count out that 24.
Now, I tell you this much, Jeff Stabnow, as you mentioned, have such a big lead and still come out with a win. That's a big deal. But I want to circle back to what you mentioned about Christopher White. Getting over that first win is a big deal for any driver in any series. You take the pressure off you. You know you're a winning driver, and you can go from there a little more relieved for the remainder of the season. Now, I think that's going to be, of course, in the mind of this W Energy machine as we take a look on the screen right now. He's going through. He currently finds himself about 2 seconds off the pole, but he's still got a bit more time in this lap to maybe improve that. We'll see whether or not he's going to be able to put himself back up in front of you now, right on board. Currently scored inside the top 10 in qualifying, so not going to be far off the leaders, but even then, you don't want to be caught up in the back of the field early, because if drivers make mistakes, it will be a chain reaction. Those in the middle of the field might end up involving themselves with those in the back, and it will get to be troublesome very quick. I mean, we've seen it before. Those stack-ups can cost drivers races.
Dennis Moore, Ryan Bloom, Dan West Jr., Devin West, Sean Breitzman, top 5 right now. Ben Smith is the man on the points as the leader. It is Devin West, Dan West Jr., Dennis Moore, Toby Ritters in the top 5 right now. And as Christopher White just finishing up with his qualifying lap, he comes down to the pit lane. 20.531 seconds that right now. Walla Walla, Washington's 00. Kevin Smith out in front. The West family, son and father, 1 and 2. Sean Breitzman is now on course also to take time for Team LSRTV. That beautiful teal and white Toyota ready to come to the stripe. He's already got 1 win on the year. We'll see what he can do here on the road courses. He gets ready to cross the start-finish line here at Canadian Tire, and he will go 137.611 seconds. Breitzman going to have to pick it up here and get a little bit faster there, David.
Now, it looks like he's got a bit of time to do just that as we watch what should be the best lap he's got under the hood here. Sean Breitzman, as you mentioned, a winner this season so far, going to be scored 5th in points. Been consistent with top 5s and top 10s. 10 top 10s, 8 top 5s. So whenever he's in the mix, he's really up there looking for the race win. I wouldn't be surprised to see him up here yet again, because he is hauling right now in this beautiful teal number 46. I mean, you can see hitting those marks, going all the way up and down to the curbs time and time again. And when you get into that rhythm, you become that much better of a driver, especially in these road courses. If you can hit your marks every time correct, you're going to become much quicker. Maybe you're not the fastest guy in 1 lap, but a rhythm will make you faster, especially in a long run, which we expect to see tonight.
Looking in now, Breitzman, will he get quicker as Smith still on the top of the board, qualifying now in the final 9 minutes. Dennis Moore, Ryan Bloom, Dan West Jr., Devin West, Sean Breitzman, your top 5, as we mentioned in the point standing. Sean Breitzman 5th, Ryan Right now, he is 76 points out. Here comes John Odenbacher. That's a name that we haven't mentioned in a while, from Billings, Montana. The 89 LSRTV entry. And I'll be honest with you, David Kreutz, and I mentioned it to you in our coming on the air debrief meeting or before we went live. There is a battle, and it is between LSRTV and Win Racing. Yes, there is other drivers and other teams in the field, but with that being said, the two teams that have gone at it all year, no doubt. Here we go again. Win Racing, LSRTV, front row here tonight at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park.
Team battle is going to play a big part of the story here as we get to our starting grid. Looks like qualifying going to conclude a bit early there. As you can see, the front row, it's going to be Kevin Smith to the point in the 00, and Sean Breitzman going to be there in second outside of the first row in the 46. Devin West going to be in the number 5 machine, position number 3, with Dan West being position number 4. Then from there, you're going to see Dennis Moore is going to be position number 5. Tony Ritters is going to be 6th. And then 7th and 8th, going to be Robert Gamble. And then in the 8th spot, it's going to be Jeff Stabnow in the number 24. To round out the top 10, it'll be Christopher White in 9th. And the top 10, indeed, rounded out by Gary Nichols in the 8 machine.
And thank you very much, David. Those are your top 10. The pack will find John Odenbacher, Dylan Huffines. That's the name we haven't mentioned in a while. Dilly back. James Vining, usually our Monday night picks some left and right turns tonight in the Catman entry. 333, and Troy Daggett flanked to his outside. Starter of 15, Frank Harris in the number 11. So there's your starting lineup as the field will get a rolling start. We come to the green flag, and again, we're going to go 48 laps tonight. Let's take a look at the Kaufman Creative weather conditions in the virtual sim here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, CTMP. 73 degrees Fahrenheit is the air temp sim. Track temp right there at 77 as well. Wind speed at 5 miles an hour. Partly cloudy skies, but right now the sun is beaming over Canadian Tire. And again, this is round number 19. David Kreutz, I got to bring you into this thing because you've done a lot of iRacing broadcasts with FTN. We simulcast on LSRTV and FTN for the eNASCAR Road to Pro. Obviously, we're down to the final 3 races before the playoffs. You've got the road course tonight, you've got Chicagoland, and you've got Talladega. And if people don't know those tracks, this track, completely different in these final 3 races on the stretch, that if you want to make it into playoffs, if you want to make it into that round of 12, you've got to do it by Labor Day, and you've got to do it and do it now. We're coming to green, by the way, and we're underway at Canadian Tire, but I wanted to get some more of your thoughts on that as well with these final 3 races that are so different racetracks.
Right, and as the green flag goes off for the first time tonight, you mentioned it, 3 races to go, and Canadian Tire, the only road course of which most drivers on the oval side of things are not all too well versed with these road courses. They're a bit different. The twists, the turns, the elevation, it's a much different style of driving. But if you're on that bubble, you cannot afford to give up any points with any big mistakes. Dropping this race, not in the literal sense, but in the metaphorical sense of making that mistake, it can cost you your chance at a championship. Talladega, unpredictable, but that's in its nature as an oval track. Here are the road courses. You've got to get into a rhythm, get that sort of understanding. Then you'll have yourself a much easier time battling in that bubble. You can't afford to let this race slip by, as the leaders have already gotten a huge jump on the field.
This is the second and final race of the road courses on the 2023 schedule for the Northwest Truck Series, presented by CLICKIT RV. Ryan Bloom was the winner back in June at Okayama International Circuit in virtual Japan. Dominated that win, by the way. Ryan Bloom again second in the points, 4 points behind Dennis Moore. However, not present tonight. And as we already put 1 lap on the board here, with 47 to go, David, here's the deal. You got a guy like Ryan Bloom. I know he's missing class, but he's already done what he needs to do to be in the postseason. He could lay out the next 3 races if he chose to. And he's done what he needs to do to make a run for a championship.
You're right, he's not really in any jeopardy right now as we take a look at Robert Gamble in the 8th position. In a situation like Ryan Bloom's, you've already done just about everything you need to make it to the dance. That's what you have to do. You got to make it there if you want to take home the hardware. Get that championship. You cannot afford to lose it before the playoffs, even if you miss a few races along the way. Wins are a big deal in terms of points. We've got several winners inside the top 10, more winners than not winners. In all honesty, I mean, there's guys like Toby Ritter, Jeff Stapp and Kevin Smith. They don't have wins, but they've been very consistent. For most, a win will get you very close to the door, so you just can't afford to let another top 5 victory opportunity slip away right now. And it looks like for Kevin Smith, he's absolutely on it right now. I mean, he has not won a race this season so far, looking at the information we've got, but breaking through and getting that race win is crucial in any championship hunt. We've seen guys win races or championships in the real world without really getting that victory. You're going to have to go back to Matt Crafton, the championship without a victory in 2019. But here in the virtual space, competition is most often very close. You can't afford to go without a checkered flag before the playoffs, and especially before that final race.
And right now, watching all of this on is problems for Jeff Stabnow. Toby Ritters is also a truck that's got some issues. He'll get turned back in the forward momentum, and that CLICKIT RV bomb speed Chevrolet number 23. Dylan Huffines already on the pit lane with work being done here in the early going. Only on lap, it is Kevin Smith, the leader. Devin West in second. There's Sean Brightsman. Third, Dan West Jr. in tow, as well as Dennis Moore as they climb the hill here at CTMP in the early going. There's the man that leads the points right now. 4 points over Ryan Bloom. What a season for 3 wins on the year, and he right now looks comfortably in the top 5 run around the corners here, David.
And of course, as you mentioned, very comfortable tonight. He does not have to worry about his main championship rival, so he can run at his own pace right now, knowing he's going to gain points regardless. I mean, he's right now cruising, as you mentioned, solidly inside the top 5. No pressure on the back of him. So he can just keep rolling, make sure he does not wreck his stuff. Maybe as time goes on, he'll get a chance to continue competing. We are expecting a scheduled yellow flag later in the going, so you don't really want to push too hard. You know that right now. You don't have that winning pace for the moment. Things can change. We've seen our Kaufman Creative weather update. That can also vary. As the day goes on, temperatures change. The track temperature will be something we got to keep an eye out for. Might get a bit too slick for some of these guys. Might get warmer, less grip. And you can't afford to make a mistake as conditions continue to change. So right now, run it a bit less aggressive. That's what Dennis Moore is doing as he holds on inside the top 5.
Lap number 4, and Smith is the leader. Devin West in second. Sean Brightsman is third. As you're watching on the monitor, his truck right now working his way around the corner up the hill. Dan West Jr. fourth. Dennis Moore currently the top 5. Christopher White, winner last week in Indianapolis, is in 6th. John Onnebacher 7th. James Vining 8th. Frank Harris 9th. Toby Ritters is the top 10. Jeff Stabnow, Gary Nichols, Robert Gamble is the trucks on the racetrack. Dylan Huffines and Troy Daggett are off course right now as they cross the line to put lap 5 on the board here at CTMP.
It's unfortunate to see some early retirees, but still most of the field is going, and all of which that are on the track are on the lead lap. Right now we're watching some race, and as you can see, that's the number 8 machine of Gary Nichols. He is in the 13th position. Got caught up in an incident early on, now losing some time, but being on that lead lap is a big deal. You want to stay there, as it looks like one man down to pit road will be Gary Nichols. And another little incident, that looks to be Sean Brightsman, trying to look at the number 8 yet again. Down to pit road here. We'll see whether or not he keeps on going. Every driver who's visited pit road so far, save for Robert Gamble, has retired from this race, so not looking too good for this 8 machine right now.
Yeah, we'll certainly keep an eye on that right now as we got all of this on track activity happening. As you mentioned, still a long way to go here in this race. Again, mind you, Smith still holding on to that top spot. There's our in-race reporter, pit reporter, usually James Vining. He's on track right now. Got himself a pretty good run right now as well. Don't want to jinx him. In the top 10 in 8th position. That's why he's not on the pit road tonight.
It's great to get that experience out there on the track, finally experiencing pit road from a different sort of perspective when he eventually comes down there for service later in the day, and looking really good so far. Don't count out that triple-digit threat, the 333 going real good right now, firmly inside the top 10, and looks like just holding his own pace and running his race. That's exactly what you gotta do inside that Toyota Tundra. I mean, he's seeing battles ahead of him. He's kept himself very clean. As you can see, the number 8 of Gary Nichols goes up to the high side there. Sean Brightsman gonna be back on the way. Looks like now James Vining gaining on that lap machine, hoping to put the pass down. We see a battle just ahead. John Ottenbacher going to barely have the edge over Sean Brightsman, and it's going to keep it that way, trying to break the draft. Not side by side just yet, but pressure being put on that number 89 green machine. Looks like it's going to be a bit more trouble for John Ottenbacher to keep that position number 6 compared to what we expected.
Yeah, we're kind of watching all this transpire, looking at what John Brightsman's doing. That's a couple of teammates for Team LSRTV. Sean Brightsman's done what he needs to do, David Croft, to put himself into the playoffs and be consistent. You got a guy on the outside looking in like John Ottenbacher, and I think they're trying to definitely give him a lift and assist to help him get up into the top 5. He is in the 6th position right now. Win Racing in the number 1 spot, then it's Team LSRTV's Junior in position number 2. Dennis Moore, the points leader also for Win Racing, sitting in 3rd. LSRTV in 4th with Devin West. Christopher White for CWR Racing, winner of Indy last week, as I mentioned, in the top 5. And then you've got LSRTV entries of Ottenbacher, currently 6th and 7th now as the race rolls on here on laps of 48. We do know that Kreutz, that there will be a caution flag time before halfway. We don't know the lap. Our executive producer, Charles Wooten, does know. We do know that much, but we do not know in the broadcast booth when that will be. But obviously it will happen sometime before the halfway mark.
And you're right, caution eventually going to come out. And I want to look back at that number 44 of Dennis Moore. He's moved up inside the podium ever since we most recently mentioned him, and he's going to be there back on your frame. I said he was running his own race, and exactly, he's been doing that. His fastest lap might not be as quick as your leading man in Kevin Smith, but he has been on it. And it looks like now he's chasing down Dan West to put himself up in that 2nd spot. This is the drive of someone who's looking to get that championship. Make sure you make the most of your situation, run the best you can, keep it clean, and eventually you'll gain position. He was inside the top 5 last we talked of him. Now he's in 3rd. He's within the frame of our 2nd place driver. I wouldn't rule him out from being up there by the time the caution flies. There's a chance. He's moving, and 8 laps in, he's much closer to the 2nd place driver than he was before. Time might be running out before that first caution, but it looks like it's not going to stop Dennis Moore from chasing down number 55 of Dan West Jr.
And I'll be honest with you, David. Obviously, I know this is your first foray in the broadcast booth of the Northwest Series, but you look at a guy like the points leader in Dennis Moore. He is not per se a consistent road course guy, but I will tell you that if the opportunity presents itself in years past, Dennis Moore has put himself at least to be in the podium or in the winner's circle when it comes to road course events. And right now, he is strategically working methodically around these left and right-hand turns, driver left, driver right, to make the move to run down Dennis Moore. Of course, Dan West Jr., 7.6 seconds, mind you, behind the leader. That is Kevin Smith, who was big time out in front for the most part. Everybody minding their P's and Q's. We had some problems earlier in the start of the race where, of course, Toby Ritters and we saw Nichols have some problems. Other than that, for the most part, it has been a fairly okay start. Jeff Stabnow did have an issue. He fell all the way back into the top 10. The top 12 are separated now by 43 seconds, close to it, as we were approaching double digits. Lap 10 coming up on the board, Dave.
When you mention that 43-second gap, Kevin Smith is doing the heavy lifting there in that number. Now he's got an 8-second advantage over Dan West. He's looking really good, smooth sailing out in front. And I mean, not winning anything so far, lights a fire under you. He's trying to get that first one in the W column, put himself in the picture for certain. And this is a statement run. I mean, nothing else can take it away right now, as he's going to lead the field down to lap number 10 this time through. He's clearly out in front as the best driver. But as you mentioned, Dennis Moore might not be the best of the road course guys, but it doesn't matter if you put it into perspective as a driver. You got to use your methods, use everything you know. Drivers build experience racing overall. Sometimes, well, not always, you can convert that knowledge from the oval scene, what you know about the drivers, try to take that to a different setting like a road course, and it might just work out. Right now, applying all that knowledge has really done him a favor and kept him inside the podium, looking for what would be his 10th top 5 of the season.
The Open Setup Truck Series of the Virtual Northwest Truck Series presented by CLICKIT RV rolls on here tonight at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. This is one of those racetracks that has fell by the wayside. Sadly, I'd love to see it get back on the NASCAR circuit again. It sounds like the time, years to come, that might be in fruition, and our friends of the North will be able to enjoy races up there again. But if not happens, the remedy is iRacing, and we are making our own history tonight. As right now, Dennis Moore running down Dan West Jr. in the corners, coming back around the start finish, if you will. That is the best battle on the racetrack by far, none, David, as we put lap number 11 on the board.
You're right, here on iRacing, we've got the chance to take on any track with any car or truck. And right now, it's providing us some great racing. The closest battle right now, we're still watching it. Dennis Moore trying to stay hot on the heels of Dan West. A bit more spread out than when we first started looking at it, but I think he's trying to just not work himself over right now, trying to put that pressure down from afar, see if he can force a mistake out of the number 55 just ahead of him, and maybe just go from there. Chevy Silverado, that's going to be representing CLICKIT RV, occupies the third spot still, and going right up the hill, using that elevation, then putting the power down. Looks like a big gain there, a few tenths of a second. Much better exit off the corner for Dennis Moore, and just when I was about to say he was losing some time, he's clawed it all right back, and now he's back in the tow, going down along the straightaway of this circuit. Maybe it ain't over so far. 11 laps in, looks like a new spark of light in this number 44. Dennis Moore light a fire under himself. He's now got himself just moments away from grabbing that second spot at this pace.
Yeah, certainly fired up indeed. Watching now Dan West Jr. Quickly realizing that that interval that he had is shrinking. But here's the deal. While that continues to happen in the battle for the number 2 spot, West and Moore, David Kreutz, we have now Smith in a 10-second interval over these drivers. So as they continue to go at it, the old cliche, you guys want to battle, I'm going to pull away. He has opened up that lead more on these two drivers. As right there is a shot of him right now, climbing the hill, going through, if you will, the S's on the back part of the course. And he is really, really the clear man out in front of this 0-0.
And it's a now multi-digit one in the seconds in terms of lead, 10 seconds ahead. I mean, that is incredible. It's a bit of a fluctuation there, but now it's going to be just above 10 seconds again. Kevin Smith has been the man. Nothing else to say about it. Whatever he's doing inside that cockpit, it has worked out very, very well. I mean, there's no comparison. Nobody's around him. He's about in his own zip code right now. Not even the lappers around him. And I'm sure if anyone's going to see lap traffic tonight, it would be Kevin. That's how far in front he is. I mean, Wesley, knowing this series, you've called it more than I have before. Have you ever seen anything like this out of Kevin, the likes of which being so dominant?
Yeah, Yeah, we've seen times where Kevin Smith has had things go his way. I'll be honest with you, David, at the start of the year, he was one of the momentum guys, and he was having gremlins with technical issues where literally he would be fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying, leading the race, and the opening 10 or 15 laps, the server would crash. He would get kicked out. He would lose all that momentum. He would not be able to get back on. Internet would go out, or something technical-wise was causing gremlins, and it was frustration night in, night out for the 00 out of Walla Walla, Washington on both Monday and Wednesday series. But he figured it out. He had help people giving him advice and telling him on the technical side what he needed to do. And since he has David Kreutz, Kevin Smith, though he has no wins yet, he has been very consistent in his ascent to climb back into the top 10 in the points now, with now race 18 of the season for him, 3 top 5s and 6 top 10s, and that has happened in a matter of probably the last 2 months.
And I'll tell you this much, on iRacing, that is the worst part of the service. Sometimes you just can't control your own hardware, your software. It's almost like a mechanical failure in real racing. If that technology goes out under you, there's nothing you can do. So for Kevin, that's a lot of work to get back up there inside the top 10 in points and begin driving through. A win bound to happen, be it tonight or elsewhere. And with such a gap, it looks like the pace is finally there alongside the stable connection to the server here tonight. He'll be able to maybe have a chance to come home with his very first of the season. Looking further back at Dan West and Dennis Moore now. The gap is still about a half a second's worth advantage, still Dan West. Dennis Moore's been there for just a few tenths of a second away for quite some time now. Hasn't been able to make the gain so far. I mean, he's been really close, especially down the straight. He's gotten very, very close. The toe has kind of carried him in within 0.4 of a second's worth. This time around, not so much, but he has some better technique for some of this track. Others, not so much. Still within the wake of the number 55 draft, so Dan is still towing him around the track, but Dennis has not broken through just yet. Got to find that extra part of the truck that'll set him free to compete even further up in the order.
But what is Canadian Tire Motorsports Park? Let's go topside on our aerial coverage as they work these 2 trucks down the straightaway. This is an aerial view of turns number 1 and 2. As my colleague David just mentioned, they're going to work their way into something that is known as the Clayton Corner. This is 2 and 2A. 2 and 2A. Off of 2A, they'll work now to turn number 3, and there is the dreadful, treacherous, daring Quebec Corner. From Quebec Corner, they'll slither their way like a snake, working their way from turn 3 into turn number 4 on about a 3/4 drive to turn number 4 to 5 and 5A, 5B. That is the hard hairpin. That is the corkscrew, if you will, Moss Corner. Moss Corner will then send them off of 5B to 5C onto turn 6, 7, and 8. This is known as the Mario Andretti straightaway. This will carry a big burst of momentum, as colleague David Kreutz just mentioned, in speed on the backstretch all the way through the S's to turn number 8, 9, and 10. Once they clear through there, you're at White's Corner. Right there is White's Corner. That's turn number 10. You're back at the start-finish line. And David, there's a lap around the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park and their demographics.
10 turns is a bit deceiving for a road course that might not sound like all too much, but it's not just the amount of turns that make the track, it's the characteristics in all of these turns. You see, there's camber, there's off camber, there's elevation up and down throughout the circuit. And as you mentioned, the Andretti straightaway, the only real break these drivers have from the ups and downs and the twists and turns here north of the border. So you got to really keep that in mind, not only where the turns are, but how you approach them. Every single one is different with their own set of characteristics. And now it looks like lap traffic is going to be seen for the field. That's going to be John Ottenbacher, and it looks like now it's going to be the second place battle. down the Andretti straight that's going to try to break by, and it looks like they just did. Now, it looks like Dennis Moore also gets by that number 89 of Ottenbacher. Second place battle continues without any major issues. 16 laps through, persisting before the first caution. It's a few laps away. We're expecting it before the halfway break. What do we expect to see with most drivers anticipating to go down to pit road, Wesley?
Yeah, I really think that these drivers right now are just kind of winging it, if you will, David. You've got a 12, 13-second lead by Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith already bypassed the lap truck of John Ottenbacher. Second and third and fourth and so on are going to overtake him now. While that's going on, we're just seeing everybody just kind of ride and drive. This is the midpoint of the race coming up here. Lap 17 of 48. Still a long way to go. Let's be honest here. There you see Kevin Smith, the aerial coverage again presented by LSRTV, and you see him right now, just right now in a different world. It's basically a practice session for Kevin Smith right now as Dennis Moore goes off course, slams one of the Armco barriers, spins around, gets now called up by the lap truck of Ottenbacher and now Devin West. And this just allowed Dan West Jr. to clearly get back to the number 2 spot.
And as you mentioned, riding around, looks like Dennis Moore couldn't take it any longer. He went a bit more on the aggression, and it will come back to bite him. As you look back up at the front of the field here, looks like we're going to be on board with Kevin Smith. And he's been the one driver who's really riding around well. That time by, his 121.763 lap time was about the best on the field. The only driver really close looked to be Devin West, who's in 4th, and he is now 18 seconds back on this 00. Kevin has been on fire so far. Everyone else, as you mentioned, no reason to be overly aggressive. Right now, you really just want to take your time, wait for that yellow flag to fall, go from there, get yourself acclimated to the second stint, regroup for the rest of it. Kevin, he's had no such worries. He has been absolutely on it every time around. You're seeing it, hitting every mark, making those apexes, and he's making it look quite easy.
Yeah, you're listening on board when the 00 when Smith makes those left and right turns, and I just think a trip silky smooth sounds, man. He's just literally on a Monday night late drive, if you will, just hitting his marks, doing exactly what he needs to do, running that best line around the racetrack perfectly. David Kreutz, he is not going off course. He is literally staying right there where he needs to be. He's knocking on these laps pretty quickly. 120.942 is the fastest, and he just put in another consistent lap, and we're about to put lap number 20 on the board next time around.
And even with such speed from that 00, he's facing the problems of worn out tire. His most recent lap, well, definitely another very consistent quick lap given the tire wear. It is slower than when he was pulling out at his best. So drivers know the Goodyear rubber starting to fade away right now. It really cannot last the rest of the going. So drivers are going to have to eventually think about when they come down to pit road. For most of them, it's a no-brainer. The caution. Some drivers have gone down to pit road already. It looks like of those still racing, Gary Nichols and Robert Gamble have used their fast repairs. Otherwise, it's been a one-run stint so far for most of the field. Pit stop's going to be shown on the timing tower right now. Most drivers have none. Only 2 are scored with a single pit stop. Otherwise, it's been smooth sailing for most of these drivers, and that's the way they're hoping to keep it until we expect that midpoint yellow. Otherwise, now Kevin Smith has what appears to be a 16-second lead. Looking at the lap machine of John Ottenbacher and Gary Nichols, they're not battling each other right now, but they're quite close to one another, picture to picture. Lead traffic, lap traffic, everyone now getting a bit jumbled up. No major issues so far. Of course, the track's quite wide, but Wesley, with this in mind, do you expect to see the lappers sort of involved with the racing later in the going?
I really don't. I mean, once we get the caution flag to come out, obviously now John Ottenbacher will, oh, look out, Robert Gamble crashing again, the 54. He's going to have to take a tow to the pit lane in a fast repair early. As I was going back to what you were saying, here's a replay of what happened, and I'll give you my thoughts on the lap. Look at the aerokinetics number 54. Robert Gamble at full speed slams into the Armco barrier tires and damages the entire front chassis of the 54 machine. He's got to go to the pits. Fast repair or go into the damage clock. I don't know if he's doing that or not. I would say he needs a fast repair. But to answer your question, David, obviously I think everybody's just kind of winding it down here. They know that somewhere between 20 and 30, on lap 20 and 30 is what I meant to say, there's going to be a competition caution. We know that everybody is going to be coming down to the pit lane. Nobody's pitted except for guys like Audenbacher. Well, the leader just spun. The leader spins as they're coming to the competition caution. Are you kidding me, David? Caution comes out for Kevin Smith, and he was the leader coming to the yellow flag on lap 20.
That's chaos in Canada, I'll tell you this much. Kevin Smith, when it looked like he'd be able to make it to the yellow flag, goes around.
Wow.
He's got clear damage there on the onboard. You can see the steering all off there. We're taking a replay. By that point, he's already spun around. Unbelievable chasing down that lap.
Did that lap truck get a wow? It did. I think the lap truck got on the bottom and it made him on driver right get defensive, and Kevin Smith ran out of room. Damage on the 00. The good news is caution's out. The bad news is struck. He's probably going to have to take a fast repair, as all these other drivers have. John Audenbacher will take the wave around. He will go back on the lead lap. And if anybody, or the free pass, I'm sorry, is what I meant. This wave around would go to Nichols. If he has nobody pit in front of him, he can get one of his laps back if he so chooses. So, caution out, 20 laps into this event, halfway, and we got cars getting, I have no doubt, David, they're coming to pit road. You have to.
I think there's no reason they shouldn't. I mean, especially for Kevin Smith. We see the damage still there. He's pacing around, but every other driver, they're seeing a tire wear. It is major. Lap times have fallen in terms of speed. It's just simply uncompetitive to stay out here. It just wouldn't be the right decision. So drivers are expected to come down to pit road next time around. And I don't think anyone is going to be an exception. Maybe Gary Nichols, he went down 5 laps to go with a different set of tire. He got his fast repair, but even then, that'd be pushing his luck. He's 2 laps down in the 11th position. I don't see a reason why he wouldn't want a new set of rubber in that position as well. I mean, I think pit road, we're going to expect it for everyone. And I'm expecting 4 tires and fuel. Really, no reason to deviate from the norm.
We'll find out that verdict right now as they come sweep off of the White's corner, ready to come back to start-finish line, and everybody is committing to come to the lane except for John Audenbacher, who is going to go back on the lead lap, obviously. And then here they all, besides those drivers that we mentioned, Audenbacher, are pitting. It'll be 4 tires and fuel. Make no mistakes about it. And you want to hit your pit stops, hit your pit stall perfectly, as Smith does, as Brightsman does, as Ritters does. It is 4 tires, it is fuel, filling up the tanks, ready to take this to the finish on the far side of pit road. You see a lot of the tire smoke. Here comes the cavalry off pit lane, and Devin West, Father West, beat out Kevin Smith. He might have came in first, but he'll exit third, David.
And clearly quicker off pit road there for both the West family. How about it? It looks like Kevin Smith's time on pit road was simply longer. It looks like on pit lane, Devin West spent 32.9 seconds. For Dan West, it was 33.9. Kevin Smith, who came in as the leader, spent a total of 34.7 seconds on the pit lane. So clearly just slower through there, and that's going to cost him 2 spots. Now, he had that green flag pace before. I don't see a reason he won't have it again, taking that fast repair, but still track position for both of the Wests here as we get back going.
We'll step away. We'll take a quick break, and we're back with more from Canadian Tire, the Northwest Truck Series on LSRTV in a moment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, we're getting ready for a restart. Hey, real quickly, we need to pause for 10 seconds of radio identification on the Community Radio Network as we get ready to go to green to the finish at Canadian Tire.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Lights off on the Porsche pace car. Welcome back to coverage of iRacing on LSRTV, CRN 87.9 FM, and we are CRN.com. We've got David Kreutz alongside of FTN. I'm Wesley Outland. We have, of course, Cody Deemers, the Rooster, doing a great job in production. Executive producer, director Charles Wooten, and Rocket Racing Media's Jeff Stabnow. We're at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. We are 22 laps into this race. It is the run now to the checkered flag. The pace car begins to accelerate and pick up speed. And right now we await the West family. Father, son, son, father, right alongside as we get ready to come to the green flag this time around now, David.
Now for the West family, getting that track position a very big deal. Of course, looks like a bit of a misstep for Kevin Smith, not only involving himself in his own incident just before the yellow flag, but in addition, looks like he just didn't make it proper into his pit stall, and that cost him not only 2 seconds, but 2 spots. Now father and son control the front row, and they've got an opportunity to sort of create a buffer for one another, see which one of them has the pace up in front, and maybe play a bit of defense here. We'll see whether or not they choose to do so, as it looks like we're moments away from the first and only restart of the day.
Working through the S's, out of White's corner, coming back to the view of the start-finish line. Pace cars, drop left-hand turn, scampers from the field. It's on the pit lane behind the barriers. Here they come to the Michelin Speed Zone flag stand. Green flag at Mosport. Green back out. We're ready to take you to the finish now. Oh, and by the way, making a late pit stop before the restart. He's only 45 seconds now behind. He's 45 seconds behind the leaders, and he will probably get lapped by his teammates now, David, as they work up that corner.
It's a very risky call to go in. He's going to be very far off the leaders here, so unless there is a yellow flag for any circumstance, I feel that's going to be the race there for John Ottenbacher. I mean, placed at still a top 10, yes, but far out of contention here as drivers are going to get back to work. We're looking right now at Dennis Moore, who finds himself in 5th. Kevin Smith has not yet been able to make it through the West family. Both father and son still hold the advantage down the Andretti straight. Looks like Devin able to get the big clear. We're looking at drivers taking it down the straight as well. Mainly, once again, looks like Dennis Moore. And as they go through, still all clean, still all green. No reason to be concerned up and down the field. It seems like mostly the running order has stayed the same since we went off the start-finish line.
10 drivers on the lead lap right now. Ottenbacher far back everyone else on the interval, 59.8 seconds, by the way. It is increasing on the leader's distance to Ottenbacher by a minute now. In less than 20 seconds, it takes a minute 20 seconds to make a lap around this racetrack. So you do the math. The less Onnebacher becomes a stealth speed. Make no mistakes. The West Smith West family fast trucks are going to run down the lap machine, or run down the man in 10th of Onnebacher. Nichols did not take the free pass, actually. He could have took the wave around, and he is still multiple laps down. He did not decide to try to go for that opportunity. He is still 2 laps down in the 11th position. We got trucks out of the race, including Gamble, Vining, Huffines. Daggett did not start on the green. It is now Devin West from Shelton, Washington, leading the way over Walla Walla, Washington's Kevin Smith, and Shelton, Washington's daddy of Devin, Dan West Jr. Right there, your top 3 as they work their way off of the Mario Andretti straightaway. The S's, White's corner, and they're looking again for the start-finish line, David.
The West family being separate right now. Kevin Smith able to work his way around Dan West, but it looks like the 2-second advantage for Devin now. It's going to take a lot of work to get back on. That time by Kevin Smith was not quicker than Devin. It looks like a 0.6 of a second separation when it comes to lap time there. Maybe Kevin was held up, but it looks like he's still got a ways to go as we're taking a look at Dan West. Gets a bit squirrely trying to chase down that 00. Just doesn't look like it's working out. Sean Brightsman now trying to put on the pressure as well. You'll see him just 0.1 of a second away from the 3rd place driver, trying to put himself on the podium. Now, I don't think the option is there to ride around. This is the run to the finish. You want to make up any positions, you've got to begin going for it now. Yes, there's a lot of time. There's many laps on the table, but at the same time, no other cautions are expected. It's now or never on this run if you want to make up those spots before the checkered flag falls.
Brightsman, Moore, right there for 4th and 5th. Top 3, 2, 3, 4, and 5 right there within a cat's whisker of one another as they work their way back around the corner. Here at White's corner, off the S's, sweeping around on a right-hand turn down to the start-finish line, up to speed, and they already worked their way quickly back into turn number 1, a sharp right-hand turn. That will go to turn 1. Working with Brightsman, in tow, Moore. They work their way into 1 and 2, now to 2A and 2. 2 and 2A, that's Clayton Corner. Clayton Corner, sweeping around there, snaking to turn number 3. That's Quebec Corner. What awaits over there is turn 4 and 5, and the famous Moss Corner hairpin. Approaching that one now. And once they do that, then they're working their way in front of you. David Kreutz in front of the Mario Andretti straightaway.
And as the drivers make their way to the Mario Andretti straightaway, it is big-time separation for most. The closest battle is going to be Sean Brightsman right in the middle of it. Still trying to chase down Dan West, and it looks like Dennis Moore right there with them. The battle to stay inside the top 5 is very intense now. And of course, you've got your points leader in the thick of it, trying to make up a bit more time to solidify maybe a top 3 run. He was looking solid for a podium earlier in the going, but after our pit run, just has not turned out to be. It looks like drivers are staying a bit more consistent now. They got their bearings in earlier on as one man is down a pit road. That looks to be Christopher White coming through this time by. He'll be 1 lap down, and the number 47 takes it through. He comes down to pit road. Very recent. He was there before under yellow, and he's here again.
Yeah, this is an unscheduled pit stop unless Chris thinks that there is a strategy here that he's going to pit ahead of anybody else, and that's not good. Sean Brightsman goes around, and when we showed Brightsman spun around, he was in the top 5. David Kreutz, it looked like also the man you mentioned, Chris White, pitted. He overshot his pit stall.
And we've seen that quite a few times already, Wesley. Pit road mistakes, they've been frequent. And for Christopher, of course, he's way back there in the 10th spot, already 1 lap down, so it's not the biggest deal for him. Still, some bad news, going to cost him some more time on the racetrack. It might put him back in contention with Gary Nichols. I mean, Gary is still driving around here in 11th. He's 2 laps down according to timing with scoring, but if Christopher ends up very far off, it could be a battle between both the 47 and the number 8 as we're seeing some blinking in and out. That appears to be from the 8 of Gary Nichols as we're taking a look now right in front blinking in and out. That's going to be the battle of the lappers here as Chris gets back on the way. 47 back out after a 44-second pit stop.
And while that goes on, it was Devin West that just crossed the start-finish line and triggers 20 laps to go as he works his way back already into Clayton Corner. What a job for the driver of the number 5 at Shelton, Washington, hitting his marks, doing a phenomenal job. We're 28 laps in, 20 to go, and it is Devin West, Kevin Smith, the Achilles heel of the first half of the race, no doubt. Now trying to run down his nemesis right now. And another, again, LSRTV win racing battle here in the second half of tonight's event here at Canadian Tire at Mosport.
And it looks like right now LSRTV has the edge. We thought Kevin Smith would have that pace to immediately claw through and get that victory, but ever since that big shakeup just before our competition yellow there, just has not been the same. Kevin looked to be a bit quicker that time around, just about 6/100ths of a second, but that's not enough, even with 20 laps to go, to chase down the race lead and eventually that victory. Devin West has been able to pull away for the most part, doing exactly what he needs to do to come home on top. Looks like Dan West gave him enough of a buffer, and the father-son duo able to make things happen here with 19 laps remaining. Devin might just be good to go for the win here. We didn't expect it early on, but how things have changed, it looks like the advantage now is held by that number 5. Devin's out in front by nearly 2 seconds still.
Remember when I told you about John Ottenbacher in the view of the leaders by no time? Look what's in his sights now, my friend.
It looks like John Ottenbacher going to be back on the way, and you can see, yes, Devin West going to be right there in the frame. It looks like it's going to be some lappers just in front of those up ahead. We're looking now on board off the rear view camera of John Ottenbacher. His current stint is 6 laps, as most drivers have been. Right now in the 9th position, he is in jeopardy of being put 1 lap down. Final man of the lead lap at the moment. He's very far off Sean Brightsman. Brightsman in 8th, 23 seconds away from your leader. John Ottenbacher is 54 seconds away from Sean Brightsman. This stint has not been the one he needed, and all of a sudden, Wesley, it looks like Devin West is closing in very quickly.
And another thing, as they work off of White's corner back to the start-finish line, John Ottenbacher, Devin West, both Team LSRTV teammates. Does Ottenbacher just step aside and let West go through, or does he fight to try to stay on the lead lap, or to stay from going a lap down, if you will? And this is going to allow Kevin Smith to use this lap truck as a pick, if you will, on Devin West for Kevin Smith in 00.
Now that's hard to say, especially in terms of Ottenbacher being put 1 lap down. Right now he is safe in terms of not competing against Chris White and Gary Nichols for any position. He's on that lead lap, and currently he finds himself 14th in points. He cannot afford to slide any further, putting himself at risk of being lapped early before drivers like Chris White and Gary Nichols perhaps get up to him. That would be very bad, but he goes to the high side there on the Andretti straight, and it looks like now Devin West has that preferred line on the inside, and he's let by quite easy. Just like that, it's going to be another driver put down 1 lap. John Ottenbacher going to be now 1 lap down. He gets right there with Kevin Smith. They're real close to each other. It looks like he's going to play the defense even still. Once again, Devin West going to get a bit of help there.
Yeah, West quickly getting by Ottenbacher, making it a little bit of a fight for Kevin Smith was John Ottenbacher, but it is a lost cause as he will finally clear him before they work their way back to Clayton Corner. Hey, 3rd member of our team, he is a producer, but he is also on, he can jump on the mic. Cody Demers, what you got for us, buddy? What's going on?
Man, I just got a quick question. I'm sitting here watching these guys go around this track and, noticing all the elevation change, the up, the down, the sideways. As a producer, I really don't know much, but as you announcers, this corner right here, when they go up in the elevation change, does that affect, the handling of the truck? Does it, affect how they have to drive the truck? Do they have to change up how they drive the truck?
I would say this. If you're driving a manual, which I believe, David Kreutz, they are, you have got to downshift, and then you've quickly got to get upshifted, and you can't get out of gear. And don't spin the tires. That's the nice thing I can say, those three things you can't do. Do you want anything more to that, David?
I have to agree with you there. Of course, when it comes to these manuals, these NASCAR Truck Series machines are not automatic, nor are they the sequential system seen in the next gens. You got to really work at it more, use the tools you've got at your disposal. Sometimes you got to make that shift, and you have to keep a watch on your tire. That is essential. We saw Devin West get a bit loose through and through on this lap, a bit more than usual. He's still pulling away somewhat on Kevin Smith, but if you let those tires bobble with all these elevation changes, it will come out under you, and you won't be able to catch it most often in due time.
Whoa!
One driver gonna go around. That's Kevin Smith,
Smith,
and he does not catch it at all. He's in trouble.
and Kevin Smith will now fall 6.3 seconds back to Devin West. Look, as a recoming of what happened to the 00. Kevin Smith, second place, just got around Ottenbacher. He lost it on his own. Look at this now, David. Wow, this is what we talked about.
That might be the move of the race, and it's not in a good sense for Kevin Smith. Exactly what we were just talking about. If you let the truck get under you like that, it is all but over. Most of the time, 9 times out of 10 at the very least, you will not get that recovery in enough time. And now Kevin's going to be back there with Dan West. I mean, that is detrimental. I don't know what he can do to chase back that lead. He's going to have to push at 110% to even have the opportunity. But 34 laps in for Devin West as they now come to the start finish yet again. 15 laps to go. 15 laps, just about 6 seconds. You've got to be much quicker to even have a chance to sniff the lead with such a deficit.
And Dan West Jr. and Dennis Moore, the points leader, are definitely sniffing and setting their sights on the driver's tailgate of the 00 of Kevin Smith. As you see them right there lurking, stalking their prey. While that goes on, they got around Ottenbacher. Ottenbacher just went off back again in the grass. That allows Jeff Stabnow to close through. There's Sean Breitzman, by the way. Remember the problems we mentioned earlier where he spun when White was pitting. He is on the lead lap, if you will, David, but he is 20 seconds back, 27 seconds back, if you will, in the 8th position on the racetrack.
It'd be hard for him to be lapped, but at the same time, the odds he finds any competition now are very, very slim. 7 seconds behind Frank Harris. Frank's had quite the quiet night. We haven't mentioned him all too much, but he is up there closer. And you can see coming down the Andretti straight, he might be on his own, at least for him. But if you look back, Sean Breitzman even more isolated on the track. It's like it's a no man's land for him. And unless anyone in front of him makes a mistake, he's really just going to be there for the rest of the race. It's almost like you're really riding against nobody right now. It's hard when it comes to that to keep on pushing as a driver. You feel you're lost. There's no real chance to keep on competing. So for Sean Breitzman, he's just got to keep on going. That's the best thing he can possibly do. Kevin Smith made a substantial mistake, and it cost him a lot of time. Who's to say nobody else will make the same type of mistake, and Sean can't get back in the mix for even another position?
It is, again, Devin West leading the way. Kevin Smith in second. Dan West Jr. third. Dennis Moore is fourth. Jeff Stabnow right there. That is your top 5. Toby Ritters is in the 6th position. Had some problems earlier in the race, but Clifford is doing well for Win Racing as well in 6th. Ottenbacher goes off the reservation. Great work by Ritters to see him and avoid it. And also, I was going to mention Frank Harris getting around Ottenbacher as well. Those are your trucks closest to the leaders. And about 7 seconds, well, I'll tell you what, in sights, if you will. I see some daylight maybe for Sean Breitzman, if you will, David Kreutz, because Sean Breitzman can at least see Ottenbacher. And right around that corner is Harrison Ritters, too.
And it looks like Ottenbacher's little mistake there, that slip-up might have been the best thing for Sean Breitzman this time around. I'll tell you this much, Wesley, we said he was out in no man's land. That's no longer the case. He's going to be able to make a pass here on the lap machine, and now he's got his sights set on those just ahead of him. I mean, it's only just about 8 seconds the distance even still, but that could have been much, much closer. We're looking back up yet again. You'll see Frank Harris there going to be riding, and it looks like now Dan West going to be with Dennis Moore, and it looks like it's going to be separate by only half a second. We've seen those two battle before, as Devin West has been battling nobody, but Kevin Smith has been very, very quick. That time around, he was a second faster on that lap, so not all hope is lost. Maybe the Kevin Smith that had a 16-second lead is coming back. And it looks like the Kevin Smith who's made those few mistakes might be out the way for the rest of the race.
Kevin Smith, again, the bomb speed. Win Racing, CLICKIT RV, West Coast entry. There it is right there, coming off of White's corner, off the assist to the start-finish line. And Smith is still in that number 2 spot. By the way, best lap of the race. There you see it. For each driver, fastest man overall is the driver of the 00 in second, Kevin Smith, 1:20.663. That's 1 minute 20 seconds, 0.663. And that is right now the interval or your best lap, excuse me, of the way they are on track. We've got David Kreutz from FTN. I'm Wesley Outland. Cody Deemer's doing a phenomenal job welcoming you to round 19 here tonight. By the way, real quick shameless plug, thanks to Virginia811.com, reminding you to call before you dig and dig with care. Bottom left of the monitor, there you see it. If we'll clear up the podium real fast, there you go. 1 caution, which was the petition caution. 2 caution laps only. And then, of course, with 12 laps to go, we've had 2 lead changes. That's brought to you by Virginia811.com, reminding you to dig with care. Call before you dig. Final 12 laps, and there you see the conditions of the weather presented by Kaufman Creative. And honestly, it's gone. It ain't changed much as it had, David. No.
I was admittedly expecting a bit more change there. We saw the wind go a bit up and down around the 4 to 5 mile an hour mark, but otherwise, it's been very consistent. These drivers have not had to adapt all too much to changing temperatures. The only things they're really worrying about right now is what's on the truck. The tires, just handling that, and that's been the big deal. Conditions otherwise have been quite constant. But, of course, nothing is constant inside a racing truck when you're going at speeds of over 130 miles an hour. And it looks like now seeing some changes at the front of the field. One driver going to go right in the wall there. That looks to be Jeff Stabnow.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, David, this has not been the night that I don't think Jeff Stabnow wanted. Listen, I know he's in the top 5. He's consistent. That's a great thing. But I would have really have thought that this was going to be the nemesis for him to break and to go to victory lane tonight, to conquer. He's conquered it before. He's won a Canadian Tire before. Just not having a good run tonight. Things have not gone his way right now. He's in the top 5.
That top 5 result, if he gets it, might mask all the troubles he's had all race long. That's going to further compound the issues, both in terms of damage and the overall performance. I mean, you're right. He might be out on his own in 5th right now, but certainly not the night he's wanted to have. Not all too competitive with those ahead of him. And it looks like he's found himself in the middle ground of those who are very far behind the leader and those who are still chasing to get inside the podium or even find themselves in victory lane. So really not the best night for this number 24. Yes, it could be a top 5, but it just hasn't been the night for Jeff Stabnow, and he's just going to have to keep on going with 10 laps to go. Doesn't look like that damage is going to stop him from driving, so continuing all the same as he finds himself still in 5th, 8 seconds ahead of Tony Ritters, and he finds himself 5 seconds behind Dan West. So not all alone on the track, but still quite far out from making a pass if he can.
Yep, 10 laps to go. when they come to the line for the leader, Devin West, who is right now about to approach off the Andretti straightaway, coming into the white corner and the S's. It will be 9 laps to go. He is the leader right now, working off of turn number 10, coming up to the start-finish line at full speed. That's the flag stand shot from Osborne flag stand under the Michelin Bridge into turn number 1, heading to Clayton's corner. And what a job for the driver now going into Quebec corner 2 and 2A off of Clayton's corner. In turn number 3, he awaits the Moss corner in front of our colleague David, and we're in single digits now. 9 remaining for the Shelton, Washington driver, who, by the way, is looking for win number 4. If he wins, he's 4th in the points, 62 behind the leader. And if Devin West wins this race now, he will be 2nd with the most winners of the year with 4.
And a win would be a very big deal. As you mentioned, coming off the Moss corner, it has been a run to remember. Devin West has held off Kevin Smith very well, about a 4-second flat interval right now. It has not been much change. Kevin was able to catch up just a bit, but it's remained somewhat stagnant. And more drivers come down the Andretti corner. You will see right now Dennis Moore's in 3rd. Dan West let him go. Dan's going to be in 4th. Looking now once again at Sean Brightsman, and it looks like he's got a bit of pressure there from Chris White. Chris, who's 3 laps down, finds himself just behind as it's side by side now. The lapper of the number 8 in frame. Sean Brightsman's still going. He's 34 seconds down on the leader, but taking a look just ahead of him, Frank Harris is only 2 seconds away. He's clawed back and clawed back big. Maybe he can start making some passes on the lead lap after what seemed to be all hope that was lost.
David, you know something else I'm noticing, my friend, as we approach the end of this race with 40 laps completed and 8 to go. Massive cloud cover over Mossport for the first time probably all night long, all day long in this race. We are seeing the cloud cover really start to show its rear ugly head, and handling getting these trucks loose or getting them tight. We got to wonder what's going to do to them here.
You're right. Things are definitely looking different right now. It's great that you mentioned that, Wesley. This is the biggest change in terms of the overall conditions on the track that we've seen all night long. Now there was going to be a difference, and Kevin Smith has pounced on it immediately, looking at the leader intervals. There's Frank Harris making a move on the lapper of Gary Nichols, but up in front, Kevin Smith for a moment there was 3.3 seconds away from the lead and gaining just a lap ago. He was 4 seconds adrift. All of a sudden, that 00's got a shot to go for it. As you see Sean Brightsman looking to have a go at Gary as well, and he's going to get very loose. What a save on the Andretti straight.
That's what we were talking about, man. This massive cloud cover, if it's making the trucks get tight or loose. Also, you got to think of them using up their tires too. And obviously, Brightsman, 5 seconds still on the lead lap. We work our way to the leaders. Let's pick up 7 to go. The lead, it is Devin West, but look who's coming. Picky Boo, I see you. Kevin Smith is running down Devin West with 7 to go.
And it looks like it ain't over just yet for Kevin Smith. What looked to be a lost cause might not be just that. They come off the Moss corner yet again, down the Andretti straightaway. It's 3.8 seconds again. It's been up and down. Not really sure what we can make of it, but we've seen Kevin Smith get those bursts of speed. He gets himself right back in the picture. Then all of a sudden, according to timing again, he's just not there. Very hard to tell what he's going at right now. He's been there, then he's not been there. It's up and down and all over. Wesley, you think there's still a chance right now? I'm just not sure as everything continues to change.
Well, one thing I'm noticing is Kevin Smith is getting faster, but not by much. He is cutting the interval, and now he's dirt tracking off of that corner, heading to Clayton corner. Quebec corner awaits, and right now it looks like he is more aggressively fighting that truck and in being a fightful at speed, driving desperately now, if you will. he's on the verge of making a mistake and losing it.
And as I'm looking at it right now, I have to say you're correct. He is really fighting that thing. That's a risk. And once again, the sunlight comes back out as he goes through the Moss corner once more. You can see he is really working that truck over and over. I mean, now it's 3.2 seconds yet again. But every time he gains that time, he makes that big mistake that sends him back. It's one step forward, one step back, and he's back to step one. As Frank Harris has some trouble, he's fading back. Now he's in the 8th position. Looks like Frank's got something going on, as he's now going to be behind Sean Brightsman.
Yeah, he certainly is. And believe it or not, they're coming to the open hand from your flagman. As Devin West, you're about to see him right now in view, reeling in Frank Harris. There you see him cross the line. Frank Harris is up ahead. 5 laps to go. My question is this: down Frank Harris and put him a lap down, or do you honestly, if you will, just you got to be patient. You got to know Kevin Smith's behind him, David, but I wouldn't try to be too aggressive being the leader, because what you've been doing has worked right so far. The last 3 laps with Kevin in stealth mode, he still is 3.5 seconds to you.
I feel right now you just can't go chasing a lap machine. It's not right. Yes, the gap has gotten somewhat shorter for the race lead, but at the same time, if you push yourself to put another driver lap down, yes, indeed, you could get a pick off in sort of a driver who could ease the gap, get that buffer going, but at what cost? If you make a mistake, you go around chasing a driver who's not on the same lap as you, there's no big payoff and there's a big risk. So right now, if I'm Devin West, I'm doing exactly what's kept me up here all throughout. Wesley, you said it, it's been working for him. Consistently working all throughout this stint. He's been the best man. Kevin Smith might have a bit more speed in him lap after lap, but it just has not been enough to put it all together and go chase that win, with now only a total of 4 laps remaining.
Ready to bring this one to the finish, as right now it is a phenomenal drive by Devin West. The first half of the race, Kevin Smith, no doubt about it, even when he hit the wall, coming to the caution flag. He didn't even know he was getting the caution flag. Then he had the overshooting his pit stall. Our executive producer, Charles Wooten, told us that he literally overshot his pit box by mere inches, overshot it, then he had to back up, overshot it backing up, and then had to go for it again. Momentum lost 2 seconds, and what happened? Devin West took the lead. But that's not the end, though, David, because then West was in the lead. Smith made a desperate move to try to get around him, and he about spun the truck and lost it. And when he did lose it, all of that momentum getting around Ottenbach allowed Devin West to be the man in the lead now as he's working to the line, and it's 3 to go here at Mossport.
And sometimes small mistakes will pile up and they will come back big. For Kevin Smith, that one small mistake of missing your pit stall by such a minor amount, it looks like it's cost him not only positions on the restart, but now he's 5 seconds adrift from Devin West. Things pile up fast in racing, and that desperate driving came back to bite him too. It was a gap almost 3 seconds worth. Now it's expanded to more seconds. Mistakes have been made. The risky nature of his driving style is coming back, and it's coming back big. That's another few tenths of a second he loses. And just like that, through the Moss corner, there's no worry for Devin West now. No, there is! He's gonna lose it!
Oh, wow. Are you serious? In Moss corner. He can't correct. Devin West is gonna fall back to second, David. You called it. Kevin Smith just got a gift placed with a W on a silver platter to the 0-0. What? Wow.
Unbelievable turn of events. Kevin Smith, just like that, it has swung back in his favor. 5 seconds behind. And as soon as he lets off, gets a bit slower. It looks like it comes back in his favor. Devin West loses 11 seconds on his average lap pace on this run alone. This lap is a huge loss for that number 5, and just when it looked like through the Moss corner there was no worry, can't correct it. Just was too slow to get it back going. The spin, that's enough, but he ended up on the wrong side of the track, and that's what really cost him there. Just like that,
wow.
2 laps remaining, things have changed, and the old Dominator is back up in front. He might not be as quick as he was before, but a 1 minute and 23 second lap is much better than a 1 minute and 32 second lap.
Yeah. And you see the interval now as they work their way off of Moss Corner, where it all went wrong just about a lap ago, 1 minute and 20 seconds ago. And this is where Kevin Smith was able to capitalize and go to the lead with just 2 laps remaining. This is it. They're working their way off the Mario Andretti straightaway, coming back through the S's. There is the leader, Kevin Smith. He's hitting turn number 10 at White's Corner. He's got a driver right, a driver left, a driver right now, and he is looking for the white flag lap this time by. 1 more lap to go for Kevin Smith. Are you kidding me? He was done for. Write him off. Not yet. He's got the lead with 1 more lap to go at Mossport.
All of a sudden, the driver who seems to be out of place, out of shape, it looks like now he's back up in front. Things have turned around in a moment's notice, and in a blink of an eye, we've got the number 00 back out there looking to snap the winless streak, get himself back on top, finally put that win in. And when you break through with that pressure, it's so much better as a driver, especially with the playoffs coming up. It's going to be a relief, and after a night like this, it's a story to tell as well. Coming to the Andretti straightaway, Wesley, take it from here. What a race it's been.
It has been a phenomenal one. We're glad you were a part of the ride alongside. Here they come off of 5B and 5C to the Mario Andretti straightaway over the Mobile One Bridge for the final times. Hitting his marks. That's where it all went chaotic 2 times ago. And West says, what have I done? Devin West was looking for win number 4 instead. Kevin Smith, the trials, the tribulations, the bad luck, even in tonight's race, is going to come back, redeem himself, win racing's Walla Walla, Washington. Kevin Smith wins an unforgettable race for the trucks at Canadian Tire. It's Devin West. He'll settle for second. You've got Dennis Moore. Even the problems he had will finish third. Junior fourth. There's Jeff Stab now. Giddy up for him. A top 5 finish. And hey, Toby Ritters, what a job for this guy. He seems to be getting better and better week in, week out. I know it's not a podium, but it is a top 10. It's a 6th place. All these guys crossing the line. Sean Breitzman. We await Frank Harris. By the way, the reason why we're showing you the results is because our STK finishing order ticker will not be available. So good idea, Cody Deemers. You see Breitzman 7th, Harris 8th. He's the last truck on the lead lap, if you will. And now here comes the lap machines coming to the line like Ottenbacher and Nichols. And that's the way they'll finish it out on the scoring pylon at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. David, let the celebration begin for Kevin Smith. We wrote him off, both did. We thought it was a Devin West win. Boy, that's why the old cliche is, it's never over till the checkered flag flies.
And it's got to be a sigh of relief after a night like that. Kevin Smith gets it done, burning it down. And I mean, you got to think, from that perspective, thinking all hope is lost, and suddenly seeing that just in your front windshield, you think, is this real? How could that have happened?
And guess what's coming, my friend? Welcome to the Northwest family. You're finally enshrined. And this is what we call the Northwest High Five Salute. Wait till you see these guys have a virtual demolition derby. This is how we celebrate the end of the night. who's going to be? Well, Dennis Moore was brave enough to try to come in there. Anybody else going to do it? Kind of lame tonight. Somebody give a shot. He's right there for the take. Oh, Ritter's was going to try to. Oh. Anyhow, we do have a ticker. I'm sorry. I thought we weren't going to have one. Well, we already gone over the results, so you already see it. You've seen it. You heard it. So we can get rid of that. Real quickly, 811 call before you dig. Caution summary. What in the hell have they done? Was that Dennis Moore? Slamming Kevin Smith off the track, man. Wow. Okay. You know, David, now you can tear your trucks all to pieces because the race is over. 1 caution, 3 laps, 3 lead changes. Virginia811.com. Call for you before you dig. Yeah. What do you think of that? What a demolition derby, huh?
I guess at this rate, it doesn't matter if the truck is in one piece or not.
We do this every Monday and Wednesday night when our races are done. We call it the Northwest High Five Salute. So, yes. All right. So you've seen the results. Obviously, mad props to Devin West. I just can't believe what we just saw, David. I can't. Man, what a finish.
These road courses, they keep you guessing. You said this is the final one of the season. Why not go out with a bang? That's one of those finishes you'll always remember on iRacing. A classic battle, strategy, pit stops, and eventually some spinning to do the job at the end there. Kevin Smith, Devin West both put on a great show. It's just hard to say how it could have gone if it wasn't a spin. We saw it could have been a battle for the both of them. Not every driver has a perfect race all the time. It was not perfect for both of them, but it's all about making the right moves when it matters most. That's what really decided the win here.
Don't go anywhere. We will have our post-race wrap-up, and we will grab our after a quick commercial break. Stay with us from Ossport.
At CLICKIT RV, we know there's a lot of heritage and history at this location. RV sales and service has been part of this community for decades. We knew there was an incredible opportunity here, but to see where we've come in just a year is incredible. None of it would be possible without the patronage and support from this community. So whether it be a more convenient and accessible service drive, a fully stocked parts department, or this amazing sales facility, what drives this team daily is making sure our customers leave here with the best possible experience.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
David Croy, Wesley Outland back here with you. Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Never forget it, Mossport. And Kevin Smith finally breaking through into victory of the year. Another win for Win Racing. As everything will update with the points and tally. We'll have all that before we do sign off and get off the air again. Kevin Smith finally in race 18 of the year with a win. 7 poles before the victory with 4 top 5s and 7 top 10s. And we'll get his thoughts on this race in a moment. First, let's go to third place. Points leader Dennis Moore will now leave tonight with 3 wins on the year, 10 top 5s, 15 top 10s, and a 16-point lead on an absent Ryan Bloom. Not here tonight Dennis Moore, your take of tonight at Mossport. Definitely a fun twists and turns events, and I think you had to do what you needed to do consistency-wise. Points.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I'm looking for tonight is points. Top 3 is a win for me. I'm not a road course guy, but this track was super technical. You miss a shift or miss a braking point, you're going off track, and you go off track, you're going to the wall because there's just nothing to stop you. It's just grass. But it was a lot of fun. You know, Kevin was fast, Devin was fast. It was definitely between those two. I was, you know, third, fourth place truck, somewhere around there. But a lot of fun. I'm glad it's the last road course.
And the big thing about these road courses, as we saw, just keeping that rhythm. Now, of course, for you going outside the podium to inside of the multiple runs there, it takes a lot to keep yourself going back and forth. So what really kept you in there looking for these spots?
Honestly, just saving the rear tires. If you know, coming out of first gear out of the hairpin, you'd spin them really fast, and you just have to manage your rear tires to stay with that. You know, Dan and I were nose to tail for probably 30 laps of the race, and I finally got them. But yeah, just managing the tires and making sure you hit breaking points is the key to getting a top 3.
Dennis, do you feel as we approach the final 2 races of the regular season that the intensity is going to pick up, or it was kind of relaxed tonight? Do you think it's just because it's a road course? And segue that in thanking your sponsors as always, Dennis.
Yeah, I think next week at Chicagoland is going to be a close race, you know, a fight between, you know, the regulars, Win Racing, Beaver State, and obviously LSRTV. Those guys are definitely putting the work in. Yeah, I'm excited for the playoffs. I'm ready to start going for that championship. But my sponsors are CLICKIT RV first and foremost. I want to thank you guys, LSRTV, and everybody with the Northwest Racing Series.
Dennis Moore will leave again tonight from Mossport Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, round 19, heading into round number 20 with a 16-point lead now over Ryan Bloom. 30 points over Devin West, the winner. We'll talk with him in just a bit. Let's go now to the I'm sorry, Devin West, the runner-up is what I meant to say. Let's go down to the second place man. That is Devin West, who we thought was going to be the winner. Devin, what in the world happened? Was it the cloud cover at the end? Was it the truck tightening, handling, loosening up? What went wrong? Did you underestimate Kevin Smith being behind you? And what are you feeling right now? I know that was win number 4 you were looking for.
Yeah, I don't know what to say, man. Honestly, Kevin gave me about a second and a half out of that hairpin the lap before. So I think I had like a 5-second gap to him with 2 to go. So I honestly just went into conserve mode, just run 2 easy, safe laps. Got to the hairpin, went to second, and then just could not get it into first. Got it into first, and next thing I know, every single tire was locked up, and I was back around. Honestly, that happened to me. That's what got me the first time as well, on like lap 7 or whatever. I've been running quite a bit of GT3 type stuff. And those obviously are just paddle shifters and shift pretty easy. Don't worry about revs or anything like that. And these trucks are quite a bit opposite. I saw you put it in at first and tries to go back to second on its own. It just does not want to go to first ever. So honestly, man, I did everything I could. It just wasn't my night. But Kevin was super fast and took everything I had just to be where I was. So
With that in mind, of course, happens to the best of us here, still able to come home with that podium finish. And I'll tell you this much, the big bright spot for this race, that pit road run. You were clearly quicker than just about every driver out, and that's what really solidified your spot up in front to run till the end of the race. Was there anything in specific you did there to make sure you get out quick?
I just got in clean. I know these concrete pit lanes and pit boxes are difficult to get stopped and then get going again. And so I just pretty much got in clean, got in safe, and then I made sure to get into second gear so I could just roll out of the box, not worry about slipping the tires at all. And honestly, I was pretty surprised to get out first. Being third, usually looking for one spot, let alone 2, was pretty surprising.
Shake it off, Devin. Obviously, I know that's what you're saying that you got to do for sure. I mean, you've done what you needed to do, when you were behind the 8 ball in both the Monday and the Wednesday series to put yourselves in the predicament to try to make the playoffs in the next 2 weeks to make a run to the playoffs. And for the rest of these drivers on the outside looking in, and thank your sponsors as always.
Yeah, just keep on fun, man. And that's why we're here. Obviously this race was about as frustrating as it gets. I took my lap around the house and got a drink of water and sat back down and just calm down a little bit. But now just have fun, and that's why we're here, right? And finish out the season, and then just look forward to the playoffs. Keep putting the time in. Jeff and Dad and John and Sean are all giving us good sets and really pushing us to be better. So just having a good time. And obviously, good job to Kevin. He was way quicker than I thought anyone else can be tonight. I thought I had pretty good speed, and then I saw his times. I'm like, man, maybe I'm not that fast. But obviously, yeah, sponsors, LSRTV, you guys are great in the booth. I love rewatching the broadcast. And obviously, my sponsors, Effective Web Solutions, Motorsports Distributing, and Kenny's Custom Hardwood.
Shelton, Washington, driver number 5, Devin West, will leave tonight with a runner-up spot. And in the points tally, he will now be in third, 30 points behind Dennis Moore and Ryan Bloom. Let's go to victory lane now. Kevin Smith also climbs in the points with his 18th start. He gets in his 15th race overall. 1 win, finally, tonight to go along with 7 poles. A pole tonight, by the way. 4 top 5s and 7 top 10s from Walla Walla, Washington. The Balsa Win Racing. Kevin Smith, welcome finally to victory lane. This is something that we should have been saying to you probably back in March or April because you were so darn good, and then those mechanical gremlins would get you, causing you to be sidelined with technical problems. Not tonight, though. What a comeback. It just seemed like everything needed to be in your favor to win this race, and it did.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I agree. A long time coming. It's just kind of a calamity of stuff there. I kind of tangled with the lapper, just not knowing where he's going, and got some damage. And then thankfully the caution came out, and I had so much damage. It was tough to get straight and get stopped in my pit, and then I lost a couple of spots. And then it's about mistakes, right? And limiting mistakes. I was if I could have run around the house like Devin about 15 laps before his mistake, I would have, because I made one that to give up a bunch of time. But I felt like I had a lot of speed. I mean, I felt a lot better out front than I did chasing. I was making too many mistakes. I had something going on with my shifter too. It kept popping in and out of gear, and that's tough when you're trying to brake and using engine braking for it to do that. But I felt like I haven't had a shot after that. I was about 7 seconds back and ran him down to about 3 or 4 seconds, and it just was pushing it too hard.
And all the same, able to recover for this victory. And as we've seen, this is the first of the season, able to get that pressure off you. You've got now that victory. What's it going to take to get through the rest of the regular season before the playoffs? Now that you've got this one out the way, what's the mentality going forth?
I think for me, it's just time. My team puts in a lot of time, energy, and effort. Ryan, Dennis, Toby, just joining them. I actually was able to spend a little bit of time this week. My work schedule freed me up a little bit, so I was able to put some laps in. I feel like the weeks that I can put in the time, I'm super competitive. These guys just build super fast sets. Ryan was under the weather tonight. He would have been one to reckon with as well. I want to put that out there. It could have been Devin and I fighting for second and third had he shown up. So, anyways, just super thankful. I feel like I had a couple coming. I've been in some good spots. Maybe even had one coming back from Devin a little bit. It works out. Probably was not in a position to win that race, but felt like I probably had the most speed over a run. I feel like if I'd gotten out of the pits first after that caution, that probably would have driven away a little bit. I just got in a better rhythm out front.
Final question. Segue this into thanking your sponsors as well, Kevin Smith. What went through your mind when you saw in Moss Corner when you saw the 5?
Yeah, Devin doesn't make mistakes, so it was pretty shocking. I was actually on the radio. I told Dennis, man, when I whittled it down, kind of like 3.5 seconds, I'm like, Devin, just give me a bobble, give me something, and he's just so good. I mean that, um, you know, I admire his speed and the way he can just come into these things and just have competitive runs every week because I don't think he puts in a ton of time. So, but the fact he did was super shocking, and I'll take it. Like I said, I feel like I had a couple wins in my belt earlier this year and just didn't work out that way. So I'll certainly take it. As far as sponsors, obviously CLICKIT RV, just super excited to have them be a part of the series this year. If anybody's in the market for a travel trailer, motorhome, fifth wheel, pop-up camper for a truck, we can certainly help you. And I want to thank the series. Just such a great series to be a part of. Such great competition in this series. So thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Sean, and you guys at LSRTV for putting on one heck of a broadcast. It's just so much fun to go back and watch these, and they're done so well. And just my team. I want to thank my team and just Dennis and Toby and Ryan. They just put in a lot of work and they keep me going for sure. So thank those guys and thank you guys. Much appreciated.
Kevin Smith in victory lane here tonight at CTMP Mosport to again pick up another win. He will now become, if I'm counting correctly, it is first win of the year, 8th driver this year to at least win one race or more when the season has concluded. So, point standings wise, Dennis Moore is leaving here tonight with a 16-point lead over Ryan Bloom, who was absent. Devin West with a runner-up finish is 30 points back down to Dennis Moore in third. 52 points back is Dan West Jr. His father, Sean Breitzman, though he had a not superb day, at least it was consistent, a top 5, and he's 5th in the points now at 73 back. Toby Ritter's 6th in the race, 6th on the track, 81 back to Dennis Moore, followed by Jeff Stabnow with a top 5 finish, 91 back and 7th in the points to Dennis Moore. Finally, Kevin Smith, again up one spot to 8th with now 96 back to Dennis Moore. Christopher White and Stefan O'Hare, your top 10. That is the way that they finish out tonight here in the top 10 of the point standings. The next race will be the penultimate race of the regular season next Monday night at Chicagoland in the virtual Windy City. Well, David Kreutz, it was a pleasure working with you. Your final take of things, man, here tonight at Mosport, and hopefully we'll work together again, sir.
Wesley, I'll tell you this much. Fantastic to be around with both you and Cody here working on LSRTV. If this race is any indication of the competition we've seen in this league before, I'm expecting a great remainder of the championship. If I'm not back in the booth, I'll be watching this series, and I'll tell you this much. Excitement. You might think that road course racing was not the biggest field in terms of car sizes. It's not going to be exciting. Exact opposite, man. This was huge. Big time racing all around. You could not look away. Everything leads up to that grand conclusion with the leading battle. I just think that if drivers are going to be keeping their eye out for how this one races, if you want to get into fun, this is one of those leagues that's really exciting on Monday nights. Fantastic to watch from my end, and great to be alongside you and Cody here doing it from the broadcast booth.
Don't forget, check out those social media handles, of course, at iRacing, at LSRTV, at Searin Sports on Facebook, X, normally known as Twitter, and Instagram, and LiveSimRacing.com. And Rocket Racing Media's Jeff Stabnow and Charles Wooten, executive producer. For Cody Deemers, our producer. For David Kreutz, this is Wesley out. Congratulations to Win Racing's Win Boss, Kevin Smith, winner tonight at Mosport. We'll see you next week at Chicagoland.